are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, happy day, friends. It is time for some Soul Wanderings. It's Soul Wanderings night. We receive an opportunity to hear journey stories from humans from all walks of life and all types of experiences. And these humans show up to share authentic pieces of themselves with all of us. I am AJ Rasmussen, your host. Hello, hello. I am so delighted with the time that I get to be here with all of you as we get to have the opportunity to discuss topics relating to our experiences with being a human, a spiritual being living in this anomalous universe. So thank you for being here with us. And I love how I just said living. You can tell I'm from Utah. Each month we have this beautiful opportunity to have the phone lines open and ready for you to call in to receive an intuitive reading with the gifted Misty Rose Merck. Misty receives information spiritually and intuitively, and this information is received as thoughts, feelings, emotions, pictures, images, and angels. My favorite way to receive a reading from Misty is to be ready with an open heart and an open mind and allow her to share with me whatever it is that is meant to be shared with me at this time. You may have a question. That's great also. But to me, this is the best because it brings me to a space of perspective and it assists me in getting out of my own way. And I'm not expecting an outcome. So the messages that I didn't know I needed to hear are in my awareness. So that is the best I feel. But if you have a question, that's great too. But as she said in the past, don't shake her. She's not an 8-ball. Either way, if you decide to call in or not, I am a true believer that the messages shared throughout the evening are good for everyone to hear. You can learn a little something from every message, so pay attention because those messages are waiting for all of you. And if you decide you want to call in, the number you'll be calling in for that gifted mini reading with Misty Rose is 85KGRA Live. So that's 855-472-5483. You can also find that number directly on kgraradio.com if you missed it. And, of course, I'll be repeating it throughout the show. We'll open up the phone lines just after the first break. And in the meantime, me and Misty get to hang out, and you guys get to participate by listening. You never know what we'll share. We don't know what we're going to talk about. Hi, Misty. Welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me again.
I really, really like it when you're here. It rejuvenates me. Your energy is so uplifting and positive. And the few weeks we're apart from each other, 4 weeks, other than when I get to see you sporadically at the shop, if we bump into each other, is really a positive and uplifting experience for me. So thanks for being the bright light that you are.
Thank you.
How are you doing? That. How's your last month been?
It's interesting. Everything is really interesting with life as we know it being drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother actually started having heart failure. I had to go to the emergency room in June and had a pacemaker put in, and it's been very interesting. And now my kids are getting ready to go to school, and life is way different that way. And it's challenging. It's challenging me to be present not just really think about things, not just go along with, be mindful, recognize that I'm being challenged because things aren't what I'm used to. Habits aren't, you're not able to rely on habits because you can't make those particular choices anymore, so to speak. And it's and then feeling as an empath, feeling the shifts going on energetically in the world. It's like being on an emotional roller coaster. It's like being on a spiritual roller coaster and a physical. It's like I see us as being spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, and all of those components. They're different aspects of self, and they're all being in flux at this moment, trying to adjust, and then things change again and adjust. And so,
it is a roller coaster.
It is.
There is no doubt about that. Being empathic myself, I can't say I've mastered the art of anything, but I have learned a lot about myself and the way that I handle the energy that's taking place. And lately, I don't know, when I say I haven't mastered, I don't know what it is, but I have felt very at peace and very calm, where it used to be really high highs, really low lows, or just kind of numb in the middle. I feel like this whole thing that's been going on, and I may have shared this with you before in a past show, has brought me more to myself and more to the awareness of what's really going on in the world, because we are so, being human and living in our lives and not experiencing everything that's going on. But now that we're made aware of so many things, it's in our face, just a lot of emotions, and learning how to handle and navigate those has been really neat. A really great growth experience, several of them.
Yeah. I'm being challenged to understand what my foundation is, as in what I believe and what my truth is, being present with that, living it, and living it in such a way that it's not about making anybody else wrong so that I can live it. It's about being able to respect where other people are,
right,
and be me.
Yes,
and
like
that's
that.
It's a finessing game. It's really sometimes a fine line and a tug of war,
and very situational.
Yes, yeah. I recognize one of the big ahas for me is I really throughout my life, with the different things that I feel I believe and growing those beliefs and perspectives, I find myself where I was trying to make everything fit in a pretty little box that, it all comes together nice and neat, and you can share it with other people. And I recognize, not all of my beliefs come together well, and yet I still believe them. They come together in the messiest of ways that doesn't always quite make sense or align properly, so to speak. And yet I still believe those different things. Something else that I've recognized too, when I have those ahas that this is the thing that I've learned for me, these are my perspectives and my beliefs, and then when I share them with other people, those are my answers that I'm using to navigate the journey that I'm on. And I've recognized, yes, I'm sharing them with other people, but something that has really come to my awareness, that in sharing them with other people, they're not meant to be your final destination. My insights, my ahas, my perspectives, the beliefs and awareness isn't about getting you to agree, isn't about getting you on board and believing. They're guideposts to point you to get to that place in yourself where you get those answers, that you know what you believe and what your perspectives and where you come from and how you live. And I think oftentimes when we're engaging with mentors and inspirational people that motivate or touch us in some way, we tend to sometimes do that as humans, look at that answer that they're sharing with us from their journey as an end destination for us, when it's never actually meant to be that. It's just meant to guide us into finding that our own answer, our own way of doing it. So
That's what I appreciate too in who you are, the content of your character, but also when you share with others, you allow them to have a space for their own experience, regardless of what you share. You give them tools and information for them to have that experience for themselves. I've been to a few readers before in my lifetime, quite a few, and the ones that are telling me how it is and how it's going to be it's disheartening to me. And I didn't learn anything from that. And it's just like when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, you have this diagnosis. All of a sudden, you believe what the doctor said. Say it's something, chronic or life-threatening, and you start to deteriorate, right? Because you took that thought and you believed it to be true. Where those experiences with the readers, it was very similar. Like and it wasn't all positive information that was shared, and you just believe it. I don't know why. We're at where we're at when it happens, whatever that looks like. But with you, I always feel the information to be for my greater good, like I expressed earlier, and it has allowed for me doors and windows and whatever that looks like for me to show up for myself in addition to the information that was shared. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I one of the things that I really strive to be mindful of is to have people have the sense that they have a choice when they engage with me. I learned very early when I very first felt prompted to share anything with people that I didn't want it to be about being right. Initially, there was this fear of needing to be right because otherwise, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And recognizing that all that did was it put me in a lower energy. And how can you do anything for someone's highest good in a low energy?
I could see that.
Those things are very contradictory. And the other thing is if I have to be right, where's their choice? Where do they get a choice? And so I always work with the with the intention of what's for your highest good, not in my perspective, not in my opinion, but I really, before I do work, I pray. Even if I'm walking into something where it's like I'm being asked to do something right this second, I, at least in the space of a breath, go inside and say, okay, God, I can put me on a shelf, meaning my perspectives. What do you need to do through me? What is your purpose? What is Great Spirit asking of me? What is God asking of me so that I can serve this person and help them for their highest good? Because I know these gifts aren't about me. They bless me in different ways,
mm-hmm.
but they're not about me. They're about helping other people. And so I try really hard to clean the space and keep it as clean as possible, meaning moving my intentions out of the way, moving my perspectives out of the way, so that things can be as pure and as clean as possible. Because it's about serving you and giving you what's for your highest good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be impossible to do that if I feel that you have to agree with me, or if you feel pressured to agree with me.
Yeah, I love that you come from that perspective. You remove the ego energy from the reading. It's so important that it's done. Again, back to my experiences, because that's all I have to share in this conversation. And then I lost my thought. There it goes. Like that.
I've been to readers myself.
I was just about to say, when I go to the readers and their ego's so involved, it's just disheartening. Where is the love in helping one another, or exchanging that gift in the beautiful way that you receive it, and for the reader to step out of their own way, right? To just actually be the conduit, which I am so thankful that's how you are. And it's another reason why I adore having you here on the show, because I know that it comes from a good place. It's not from a place where you feel like you're going to gain, material things or recognition or anything. You do it because you love to do it. And it comes from your heart. And you work on cleaning your own energy and being present in the moment. And that stuff really matters.
Now, I've had readings where it was like, well, okay, I don't know how I see that or agree with that. And, I took it or left it. There's been other people that I felt that I was really blessed. And then there were other people where I felt used. Maybe they were good at what they did, but I felt used through the experience, and I didn't like that. And what all of those experiences did is they helped me become very clear about how I wanted to operate. And I think that's, what every experience that we ever have, it's showing us what we do want, it's showing us what we don't want. And when we see what we don't want, what do we want to do about that?
Yeah.
Do we want to complain? I have been known to be very, I like getting on that complain train.
Complain train.
And it can be a runaway train too.
It can. It most definitely can.
And but I spent a lot of money doing inner work. And there was this gentleman who his wife would want to get into an argument, and he would just go, I spent too much money to do this, and he'd just walk away because he was spending money on that place where we call inner work. And it's like you realize, I've made such an investment, and it can be a money investment. It has a lot of cost, and it's not just money. It's our time, effort, sweat, and tears, and all kinds of pain and suffering. And you realize I can do what I've done in the past and engage with something like that, or I can recognize I've invested too much to go back there.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And a lot of this experiences that we're having, I've gotten into fear. I've dove head first deep into that pool as things first began shifting. And then I've lived so much of my life in fear that it's paralyzed me and kept me from doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things is regretting what I didn't do. And I just, through the inner work and the effort that I've spent on that, I don't want to live my life controlled by fear. And so I challenge myself now. Mm-hmm. I have a sunburn because we went swimming, and I love swimming, but when I can't touch my feet to the bottom, I'll get a little bit of a panic.
Yeah.
And so where we were, it was shallow, brief, and then quick. It was deep, and it wasn't just like a little deep, like
it's a drop.
Oh, if my head bobbed, under the water, I could touch the ground. No, it was deeper than that, and I'm not a tall person, so it was deep fast. And I kept challenging myself to swim out and chill, like feel the stress, and then breathe through it, get myself to relax.
Yes.
And so we were there for 5 hours back and forth. I would just recuperate from the swimming, and then I would challenge myself to go a little further and come back and just keep doing it and see how I could get myself to relax and get myself to move through the fear. Fear, I really don't feel is here to paralyze us and to dictate our lives. I feel it's a tool.
Absolutely.
It's a messenger. It's a lesson. It's something that's trying to invite us to a different way of being, if we can look at it that way. In the brain, your brain operates off of chemical responses, sending chemical responses and signals, hormones, that kind of thing. That's how all of your body operates. So for me to move my mouth and talk, there's lots of chemical responses that are happening. When we feel emotions, those are chemical responses. In the brain, the same chemical response that happens when you have fear, which is things that may or may not happen, it's the same chemical response that you have when there's danger, meaning something real bad is happening right now, like, being held at gunpoint, being in the woods with a bear, that's danger. Your body has the same chemical response. So on a, I don't know, lower level, physical level, the brain can't differentiate between the two.
Mm-hmm.
It's our conscious job, cognizant job, to differentiate. But oftentimes we kind of go unconscious and then react instead of consciously engaging and then responding.
Right.
And so the same thing, when your brain experiences embarrassment, it's the same chemical response that the brain has when it's dying. And so that's why so many people avoid embarrassment and things that feel embarrassing, because it feels like you're dying. It feels like death. Well, that's because it's the same chemical response within the brain. And so it's like, if we can just challenge ourselves to, for a moment, breathe through this or do that. There's a quote that I like, that fear is just excitement without breath. So if we can engage breathing, then perhaps we can, shift into excitement, change the way we're viewing the thing so that it can stop being paralyzing and be empowering.
Yes. There's something to be said. There's about overcoming fear. It's exhilarating.
It
really is.
It can be very empowering.
Yes.
One of the things is
definitely empowering.
As we engage with the world around us, we like to define things because we want to understand. However, in our understanding and our definitions, we can cement, like create a very fixed definition of something that was never quite intended to be so fixed, when in reality it was meant to be more of a fluid definition. And so one of the things that I challenge myself and when I'm working with people is the way we define things, creating a platform for us to have a greater perspective, or is it creating a box that we get stuck inside? Because the difference is, one's, the box, you just turn it over and now you've got a platform. It's all about how you look at it.
It's all about your perspective.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I love that you shared that, because we are all living in fear. I don't care who it is right now. Everything is very uncertain. There are so many balls in the air. We don't know where anything's going to land.
No.
And it's scary. It is terrifying.
I've had lots of conversations with my husband, with my best friend, and it's like, I don't want to be complacently ignorant.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't want to be over-informed and paralyzed.
Right.
And it's about trying
to
understand
balance.
Yes. And then you have so many different conflicting sources of information.
Right.
Who do you believe, and who do you trust, and how do you verify this source and that source? And at the end of the day, you can have lots of people who we would call experts sharing their opinion, but we have to remember it is an opinion. Because through all of their, whatever it is that's given them the title of expert, they're still at the heart of it a messy human being. It's like with medicine, it's called a practice for a reason. So when we see doctors, they're not perfect. But sometimes the mindset is, when you go to see a doctor, they're the authority.
Right. They have all the answers.
But it's called a medical practice. They're practicing medicine. It's just like when I do readings. I am an imperfect human being. So how on earth am I supposed to do that perfectly? So what I share with people, my introduction to whether I'm doing a group reading, whether I'm working in a one-on-one session or something like this, I start by explaining, this is who I am. I'm a life coach. I'm an energy worker. These are my gifts. I receive messages and I perceive energy. And then I explain how I get those things. I get it as feelings, thoughts, emotions, pictures, images, and angels. And I follow it up with, because I am interpreting what I perceive. If I share something that doesn't seem to fit, don't make it. Just receive what feels right and true for you. Because just in the English language alone, how many words can be used to say something's beautiful? Innumerable.
Right.
The word I would use and the word you would use, may not be the same. And they could be so different that when I use it to say this is beautiful, you don't connect with it because your word's so different.
Right.
So a lot of it is perspectual.
And that does happen quite a bit, right?
It does.
It
But
does.
the beauty is when I do readings, I can only progress as far as your understanding. So if you don't understand something, then the energy will pause and reshift or show me a different expression to try and make a connection. Sometimes if the block is so big, it'll have me move to something else. And it's almost like it takes me in through a back door because then we come back to the thing where they couldn't connect and then they connect.
That's so much fun being a witness too. When you have those experiences that I've watched, it's just really neat.
Yeah.
Those are the type of things that are going to come through in a reading if you guys are going to call in. I'm not sure who it is, but on the flip side of this break, we're opening up the phone lines, and you'll want to call 85KGRA live. That's 855-472-5483. And when we get back, you could be that first caller. So do it. I highly recommend it. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years, and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. The tea that makes you go. Please listen. Now is not the time to fear. When your immune system is strong, shields up. You have very little worries. If your immune system is compromised, you're susceptible to all viruses. I say shields up and no fear. Try Heart Love from GetTheTea.com. Heart Love has a special ingredient called allicin. It comes from the healing part of the garlic plant. No garlic breath. No garlic leaking out your pores, just pure immune-building ingredients that gets your shields up. Heart Love is a unique blend of herbs that loves to build you up. Google garlic and know the benefits. One Heart Love pill is equal to 20 cloves of garlic. 20 cloves! Shields up. You've heard of our Life Change Cleansing Tea at GetTheTea.com. Now try Heart Love. And by the way, take your blood pressure and watch weekly what happens. So here's how to purchase. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com and build your shields. That's GetTheTea.com. Mention Ray in the coupon code and hit apply and receive free shipping.
The Liberator Rocket Heater will heat your home for free. The highly efficient Liberator Rocket Heater has no moving parts. It's safe and strong, constructed of quarter-inch steel. So like all things made in the USA, it's built to last. Uses any kind of wood, sticks, even scrap in its gravity-fed firebox. And it heats workshops, homes, garages, outbuildings, industrial areas, and barns. Watch the video of this blast furnace stove in action. Visit RocketHeater.com. That's RocketHeater.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Now you have the inside contact for alternative talk radio. The Planet. KGRARadio.com.
Welcome back to Soul Wanderings, heard here on KGRARadio.com. I am AJ Rasmussen, your host, And tonight we are hanging out with this lovely angel, Misty Rose Merck. Welcome back, Misty.
I am here.
She is here. And also, we have someone else here with us. We have opened up the phone lines. If you guys are interested in receiving a mini reading from Misty Rose Merck tonight, you'll want to jot down this number, 85KGRA Live. That's 855-472-5483. We're going to move over to the phone lines and accept our first call of the evening. Hello, Shaylee from Utah. Thank you for calling the show.
Hello, ladies.
Hi. We have
Hello.
Misty here tonight. Obviously, you know because you're calling in to receive a mini reading. Are you ready?
Yes, I am so excited and so ready.
Well, thank you for calling in. Misty's connecting to your energy right now. Did you have a specific question? Are you open to having her share with you whatever comes up?
I am open to have her share with me what she is feeling
Awesome.
with me.
Perfect. Well, here she is, okay?
Hello, how are you doing
Thank
today?
you. Good. How are you, Misty?
Hot. It's hot today here in Utah.
It is hot.
It is hot.
It is very hot.
So, I know that you're sitting and asking for me to just tune in, but I feel like you have had some very specific things on your mind lately. Would that be accurate?
That would be very accurate, yes.
Okay. So it's funny because your voice, you have a very kind of bubbly, buoyant energy in your voice. But when I feel you, you feel very heavy right now. Like very, I would almost say down energetically. Like, I don't know if I would say depression, but you feel very heavy. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I'm very heavy. I have had a lot going on, but
Things
I
have
try and
felt
keep
very
myself bubbly
hard.
and
Does that make sense?
yes,
Okay.
you're reading me very right.
It's kind of hard to, because it's like your mind's been racing with a lot of thoughts, and so it's like it's kind of hard to hold on to one because it's like a runaway train.
I know. Well, welcome.
Can you just do me a favor and close your eyes and take a deep breath, breathe in, allow your diaphragm to expand. We're just going to slow down your mind a little bit because it's been full of a lot of anxiety. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So it's funny because on the surface, it's like I feel there's some financial concerns, but I feel really what's going on is emotional things in your heart. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, my heart's very heavy. It has been this year, probably
Okay.
more than any year.
So, do you know that you're empathic?
Yes, very much so.
And it's like right now, I feel like you're really struggling watching some I don't know, it's like more than one person, but so what I see for myself, because one of the ways that I get stuff is through being shown personal experiences. And what I'm seeing is like my friend who's struggling with one of their relationships where somebody is dealing with, they're having a hard time watching that person struggle. Does this make sense for you?
Wow, you're kind of scared me. I've actually.
Okay, so
I have
as an
some
empath,
friends.
what's really hard is we're here to help people. We really are. And we kind of even if unconsciously we know it and understand that. And so a lot of empaths find themselves in situations where they're trying to fix people. They're trying to help
Right.
people and fix people because we know that we're here to help, but we're kind of going through the way of trying to fix it by taking it on ourselves. Does that make sense?
Exactly, yes.
And so it's understanding as an empath, being very mindful and having healthy boundaries for ourselves so that we can be healthy, engaging in our relationships. Because it's going to be hard watching people suffer, especially when we know it's unnecessary, as in they're making choices that are causing their own suffering. But it's even worse when we exhaust ourselves emotionally and physically and mentally trying to fix things that we have no control over. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yes.
And so it's like, because you feel like you're drowning emotionally. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I am drowning a little bit, but I'm trying to stay on top of it. I'm not going to let
And
myself drown.
it's funny because inside you're like an optimist, but you're living the life of a pessimist. And it's you're like your innate nature is very buoyant and happy, but you're very miserable right now because you're not living in balance with your true self. Does this make sense?
Absolutely.
So, if I were to give you any suggestions or advice, it is redefine how you view pain. Pain is a messenger. It is communicating when things don't work. It's trying to tell us to stop, redirect, refocus, ask questions. But we humans tend to have varying levels of high tolerance for pain or ignoring it until we cry
Right.
uncle. And so if you can view somebody's suffering from a place of purpose, there's a purpose for the experience, even when we don't understand it, even though we know that they're creating unnecessary suffering in those experiences. Sometimes people have to be in the muck and mud of their choice long enough to get tired of it. And when we are constantly trying to rescue them from it, because they're not tired of it, they just go back in it or find a different pit to jump into. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
And so it's like if we could get you to witness from a place of holding space, of being loving, without trying to save them from themselves. It's not that you'll stop hurting, but you're going to stop hurting to the degree that you hurt and stop being so exhausted. Because it's very emotionally draining. The stress, the worry, the efforts, the fruitless efforts, because they're not done doing what they're doing. That make sense?
Yes.
And so it's
Thank
like, I don't know, to a degree, give yourself permission that it's okay to walk away. And it's not walking away as in you have to stop loving them. It's walking away from being responsible for them. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
We attach love to things that love isn't meant to be attached to. And you being able to fix somebody isn't going to make you deserving of love. You just are because you exist. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Your self-value and self-worth doesn't come from you saving people. Your self-value and self-worth are just intrinsic because you exist. Your existence gives you self-value and self-worth. Everything you do on top of that, you do because you desire it, not because you feel you have to earn or prove. When we can create that boundary of, I'm doing this to help so-and-so because I desire it, because I desire to be of service, I desire to be a part of the experience of helping them, and then understanding to use wisdom of what help you're able to give without deteriorating yourself. It's not that we're not meant to go out on a limb for people, but we have to recognize when a person is willing to receive it. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
So, in essence, I'm going to say you're a love bug on steroids. You are a very tender-hearted care bear. You love and love and love so that your heart is so sore because you get hurt so easy because you take things so personal. Does that make sense?
Right. I feel it's a curse sometimes.
No, it's a blessing. To care the way that you care is a gift.
Curse.
It's a gift. Right now it feels like a curse because you haven't learned how to use it. But when you begin to understand how to love in healthy ways, because unfortunately we all come from dysfunction, and we've been taught how to love in unhealthy ways.
Right.
When we can understand how to love in a healthy way, which is you can love as much and as big and as often, and you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with their dysfunction. You don't have to agree with the pit they want to live in at the moment, and you can love them. When you can make that distinction, you can have that freedom to love without feeling so wounded. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because love doesn't equal agreement. We can disagree until the cows come home, and we can love. So you can see them in their suffering. When you feel guided to take action, offer it. But make it an offering and not a have to. Make it an offering because they have a choice. And then what happens is if they say no thank you, you're free to love them and move on. And they're free to stay in their pit if that's what they want to do. But a lot of times what happens is when we offer things, we offer it with attachments. And most of the time when people tell us no, it's not no to the thing that we want to give them. It's no to the attachments we've put onto those things. That make sense?
Yes.
So when I want to do this act of service for you, but I've got this attachment of you have to love me because I've done this for you, or you have to respect me, or do you see what I'm saying? We have all kinds of really crazy attachments that we attach to things that we're giving to others, even love. Like, well, if I give you love, then you agree with me. Or if I receive your love, you agree with me. Or, I mean, we just have all these different things we're attaching to what we're giving. So if we can remove the attachments, more people start to say yes to what we're trying to give. And when people feel like they have a choice, when people don't feel like they have a choice, they generally will say no. Because when we don't feel like we have a choice, we feel like a caged animal, and that brings out fight or flight. People avoid us, people resist us, with us. When people have a choice, meaning we can give things without all the attachments, they're more likely to choose what serves them best. Because when they have choices, they have freedom. So, in essence, what I'm saying is you have a big heart, and it is an important, beautiful thing. And people want the love that you have to give. The only reason why they've been saying no is because you've had these attachments because of your insecurities, your wounds. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
Like, I would give in my past, I would give love with a lot of need attached. I needed them to validate me. I needed them to tell me who I was and say I was good and all this other stuff. So people would say, no, thank you. And then I would my fears were validated instead of my love. So kind of what I'm saying is that's kind of the experience you're in at the moment, is you just want to love. But to a degree, those attachments are hindering people receiving it. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So recognize what it is you want for yourself. Be honest with yourself. When you get clear, it becomes real easy to set your boundaries. When you set your boundaries, you bring more healthy relationships. You bring balance for yourself and your relationships so that you can give, even at times go out on a limb and help somebody struggling without it being this self-defeating takedown. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then you can start giving love without the attachments. More people are going to start being open to receiving your love. And then you're going to start feeling joy because you're able to allow that give and receive of love. Does that make sense?
Right.
Was that helpful?
Yes. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for calling in, Shaylee.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you.
Yep, take a deep breath, soak in the information. Don't take it all on at once. Everything's going to work out.
Sorry, I kind of felt like I went on a tangent.
Well, we appreciate you calling in. You have a good night.
Thank you. You guys too.
So we lost a couple of callers, which is okay. If you guys were on hold, just call back. It happens. Sometimes the information that is shared just needs to come through, and it takes a little bit of extra time. The phone lines are still open. You can call us at 85-KGRA Live. So that's 855-472-5483. In the meantime, we're going to hang out until we get another call. It happens. That's a lot of information. And when I said the messages relate to everyone, I'm sure we can all feel that on some level. I most definitely can empathize with that situation. Just loving people so hard, right? It's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it took a lot of painful experiences to realize and come to that awareness that I was giving things that people would like to have, but it had these attachments. Kind of like, in our government, they'll create a bill and then they attach these riders that seem to have nothing to do with it whatsoever because somebody wants something approved and they know that bill will go through because people want it so much. And so it's like when we have these unhealthy attachments to the things we're offering, some people are willing to say yes and other people aren't. We get more, I don't know, I don't want to say buyers, but we get more people open to receiving when we're giving healthierly, when we give in a more healthy way, I guess.
Now that makes sense.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. But we don't know until we know, as I always say.
Yeah.
And it is a learning experience. Several of them for some of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, till we get it, till the dots connect.
Yeah.
I've had several. I know you've had several. It's just part of being a human, I guess.
It is. And it all comes from the training we have as a child with our dysfunctional families.
Yeah,
and
conditioning is alive and well on so many platforms.
Yeah. And, it's a generational thing because, your parents were taught by their parents and so on and so on. And the thing is a lot of it was not malicious intent. It was unconscious,
right?
Doing what we think is best.
And all we can do is better. I mean, so generically said, of course. However, I think about how my parents were when they raised me versus how they are now. Completely different people. And they were so young when they had me, right? And all the mistakes that they made. And so you think you learn from them or your grandparents or your aunts and uncles, whoever that looks like. yet you still do the same thing with your children or your friends or whatever that looks like. Your husband's laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It must be a thing.
Yeah, I've apologized to my oldest because we had to learn on her.
Right. I mean, what do you do? I just had the one poor kid. He went through so much with me, but I'm so thankful because we both grew together. And it's really neat what you can accomplish when you're aware of the things that are taking place and that could use some mending and can use some healing.
Yeah, and I joke, but it's true. I mean, it's the honest truth that I have talked with her and I've apologized, and because I know, the mistakes that I made, it hurt both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't ever come from malicious intent. It all came from struggling to do the best I could with what I had.
Right. You're just figuring it out, too.
Exactly.
We're so young. Well, most of us are so young when we bring another
child.
Right. You bring another life in and you just, like, literally don't have a clue. There is no book that teaches you all the things.
Yeah, no instruction manuals pop out with the baby. I've yet to see that ever happen.
Yeah, and thank goodness, right? Because that would be more conditioning and more expectations.
Pain.
Definitely more pain. We don't need any more of that. But, speaking of children, younger generations, I'm just blown away how, not so much in our generation, but our parents definitely, how they just blindly were out in the world experiencing all the things and believing everything they saw and witnessed and read or heard or whatever that looks like. And the generations now are questioning everything. And I like that. I like how expansive their minds are for solutions and breaking
There's a really great book that I like by Stacy Sadler called Aura Personalities. And she talks about the different auras and the personalities, traits that are associated with those auras. And she talks about some of the personalities and auras that are just more of the up-and-coming generations. And chain breakers, change makers.
Is that what they're being referred to as? I can see that being a thing.
I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact terminology she uses, but yeah.
Well, you have a little. Their minds are so different than your oldest. It just blows me away. Yeah. Sitting with a 5-year-old, my niece, she'll ask me questions that I didn't even think about asking until I was at least in high school. And their willingness to learn and absorb everything it's phenomenal. They're sponges.
Yeah, I have a girl with boys in between and a girl, and I jokingly say, in the Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all. That's her. She's the boss, Queen Bee. She's the pretty princess tomboy. She's taken her brothers down in chokeholds and arm bars, and she loves her dresses. Loves her dresses and hair bows,
but she also wants to be a badass. So good for her.
She is. She's sparkly and bright and full of life. Yeah,
it's really neat though, isn't it fun just to sit with the younger generations and have conversations with them and really get their perspective on what they're observing from their eyes.
It's funny. I love reading younger people, teenagers and early 20s, because they're more open. They just are. They have less blocks. Mm-hmm. And when I read them, it's so different. It's way different. The energy's way faster. And what I'm able to communicate and share with them, because I can only share as much as a person is able to receive.
Right.
And sometimes when I'm reading these younger people, I feel like I'm an auctioneer talking so fast. And I have to consciously get myself to slow down because I trip over my words. And, they're amazing. The energy that they're bringing. The energy that they're bringing and they emit.
It is. I love it. It feels good. It feels good, and it's hopeful. It's hopeful for us that we're going to have the opportunity, I hope we are, to watch them grow and change the world. Like, that's what we hoped we'd do when we come here, but we're not even close to the awareness and the consciousness level that they are coming into the world.
Yeah, it's like a lot of readings that I give. You know, I ask people a lot, do you know that you're empathic? The younger the person, because being empathic, it's a gift. Everybody's born with a level of intelligence, and that level can be increased and decreased by choice. And then you get someone who's born with a high level of intelligence. We call them a genius. Mm-hmm. With empaths, you know, everybody's born with emotional intelligence, and that can be increased and decreased by choice. But then you get someone who's born with a high level of emotional intelligence. We call them an empath. The reality is there have been empaths born throughout time, mm-hmm. And that number has increased. The younger the generations, the more they increase, to the point where literally pretty much everybody born now is empathic. But the thing is people who weren't necessarily born an empath, with all the shifts of energy that's been happening in the world, they've been getting boosted. So they're getting boosted to higher levels of emotion. Exactly.
Love it.
So people who weren't born an empath, they're becoming empaths.
I love it.
And it's
so much I do.
And then the people who were already empaths, they're getting boosts so that their gifts are being expanded. They're growing in their gift and ability. And it's just happening.
It's just happening. Mm-hmm. I love it. I really do. It feels so good, and it brings so much hope and optimism to what we're experiencing now in this day and age. We are going to take our break, and when we get back, the phone lines are still open. So jot down the number, 85-KGRA Live. That's 855-472-5483. And we'll see you guys on the other side of this break.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 945-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. That's 945-882-7221. Or go to the website angioprim.com.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Permanent industrial glue impossible to remove? Not anymore, Because Handyman Formula by D-Bond is a patented chemical adhesive remover. It's used in the building and home maintenance industry, but now it's available for your home use, for your DIY projects. Unglue stickers, silicone rubber, labels, price tags, flex tape, weather stripping, carpet glue, wood glue, liquid nails, even 3M 5200. And it dissolves graffiti. Yeah, graffiti. Handyman Formula by D-Bond works, and it's safe to use on most surfaces. No need to call a professional. Don't get out the pliers and blowtorch. Just apply a little Handyman Formula by D-Bond and wait 90 seconds, then quickly and easily pull the items apart. Get unstuck. Visit dbondhandymanformula.com. That's dbondhandymanformula.com or call 561-575-4200. Handyman Formula by D-Bond.
Mainstream media's most wanted. KGRARadio.com.
You are listening to Soul Wanderings on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Salt Lake City, Utah, Hudson Valley, New York, and Soul Wanderings can be found on all of the listening platforms, like all of your favorites. Just pick one. We're there. iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, all of them. YouTube? YouTube's one. YouTube's a great one. So follow the official KGRA Radio on YouTube. Head on over to soulwanderings.com. And if you guys love the show as much as I do, share with your friends. I think everybody can learn something from the show. We have such a plethora of different guests, and Misty joins us once a month, and it's always a good time. Sometimes, though, Misty, I say good time. Sometimes it's a lot of information and kind of heavy. But I want to know from the people who have received a reading, like weeks later, months later, when they figure all their stuff out, you know, the information that you've guided them to, I want to know how they're doing after that aha moment. So if you guys have had a reading from Misty, you can call in too. You can share that information also, because I'd be interested in knowing.
I'd be interested. I don't often get the opportunity to see people after.
Yeah, it would be really neat. We do have a call on the line, and then I have a question from the chat room. So let's take our caller first. Hello, Michelle. You are on air with Soul Wanderings with Misty and AJ. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you?
Great. Thank you for calling in. Do you have a specific question for Misty, or would you like her to read your energy in general?
Just read my energy in general, please.
Awesome. Okay, she's connecting to your energy right now.
So seems to maybe be a theme, but your energy's feeling kind of heavy and sluggish right now.
Yeah. That's true.
Really tired.
That's true.
So, have I talked with you before?
No.
No. Okay. So, I don't know how to put that into words. Okay, so what I first feel to start with is it's important for you to understand that, because it feels like you feel very alone in your experience at the moment. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
And I feel to begin with, I don't know what your spiritual perspectives and beliefs are, but I really feel many angels surrounding you at this time, supporting you through this experience. Can you understand that?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
And it just feels like keep praying and talking, because your words are not falling on deaf ears. There are many angels tending you at this moment. Can you understand that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so, like, what I see is like you alone in the dark hours of the morning, being awake and talking. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
those conversations mean something, not just to you, but to those that are working to help you at this time. Okay?
Okay.
Because I just feel very strongly for you to really understand that you're not alone and that you're not going through this alone. You're not suffering alone, and that this isn't the way things are going to be forever. As in, this too shall pass. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It kind of feels like do you experience depression, Michelle?
I have, yes.
Okay. So there are different things that can initiate that. One is an overfocus of the past. But there's also suppressing or depressing feelings, big feelings. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
And it's kind of like I feel like under the burden of feeling so much, you're trying to not feel because it's overwhelming. And that's what's kind of forcing the depression to initiate. Does this make sense?
Yes, perfect sense.
And so it's if we can teach you how to recognize your emotions and give you some tools to manage them so they're not so overwhelming, then you would be less tempted to suppress them. And that would help kind of curb the kind of volcanic overwhelm that happens emotionally for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's
you sure have a lot of sighs with me.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, you sure have a lot of sighs with me. You feel the heaviness?
Yes. Yeah, that's moving energy. So I'm going to say sometimes it doesn't feel safe for you to express your emotions. Would that be accurate?
Extremely.
Do you have one person in your life that you feel safe enough talking about these things?
Yes, kind of. Yes and no.
So I'm one of the skills that I could give you is called a dump and burn. So you don't need another person to be able to process your emotions. Now, what a dump and burn is you get a timer. That could be your phone. It doesn't matter. You just want something to set 10 to 15 minutes. The reason being is we want to get that muck up and out, but we don't want you getting stuck in the muck. And we human beings tend to ruminate when we think on things too long. Does that make sense? We marinate in the juices of that yuck if we focus on it too long. So that's why 10 to 15 minutes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write about all of that stuff that you're feeling overwhelmed by. Because to the psyche, to your subconscious, it doesn't differentiate between being in your thoughts and being on the paper. As in, it sees it outside of you, even though, you still have the ability to think about it. And so that's one way to get it out. And then what you're going to do, and this is why it's called a dump and burn, is you destroy it. Because what you're looking at, what you've just written, is basically emotional vomit. And you don't want to reconsume vomit, so you don't want to reread this, and that's why you're going to destroy it. And you don't want anybody else reading it. Depending on the level of emotion that comes up for you while you write, that's going to determine how you destroy it. So you can rip and shred. It's an effective way of getting rid of it before throwing it in the trash. But if big emotions come up for you, this is where I'm going to suggest taking it and burning it in a safe way. So, like, I put mine in my barbecuer. We have a fire pit, that kind of thing. And throughout time, throughout civilization, burning ceremonies, fire ceremonies, are so impactful in societies, communities, because it has such an impact on our psyche, and it releases that, and then it is getting rid of it in a way that feels final. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Now, there's many people that teach this technique, but they neglect to follow up with, you know how we'll have that counter space in our house that's full of clutter, and no matter how many times we clean it, that clutter comes back to that spot. It's called a hot spot. And it's because even though we clean it, the energy is still resonating at what was there previously. So when we go and we repurpose it, like decorate it, put certain things there, what we're doing is we're shifting the energy of what that space holds so that it no longer attracts that junk, so to speak. So you're going to let go of things by doing this journaling exercise. We want to repurpose the space that stuff used to live in, so that you don't, because like attract like, energy magnetizes the same energy. So we want to shift the energetic resonance of the space in you where that stuff used to stay, so that you don't bring more of the old. Does this make sense? Yes. So after you're done destroying it, you're going to follow up with a gratitude journal. This is something you keep. You express gratitude for anything and everything and anything under the sun. It doesn't matter, because gratitude is a love expression, and any love expression can move you from negativity to positivity. Gratitude is the easiest love expression to muster. Trying to muster unconditional love when you're in the dumps can be mighty hard. Gratitude is the easiest one to move, and it's just as impactful. So you follow up with, you set the timer 10 to 15 minutes. You write the junk. You destroy it. 5 minutes at least. You can write even longer, but at least 5 minutes of expressing gratitude. Because what you're doing is you're going in and you're shifting the energy so that you don't get more of the same. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what that's going to do, it's going to help you. It's going to be like a pressure relief valve to all this overwhelm that's been going on, because it's like you don't know if you're coming or going because you're so emotionally distressed. Does this make sense?
Yep.
And in that emotional distress, it's making it harder for you to think clearly, as in you feel like you're losing your cognitive function. Would that be accurate?
Yes, it would.
And so it's like you go to make a decision or make a choice, and then you're second guessing yourself because you're afraid of the emotional overwhelm that will follow. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And you, I feel, are being faced with some very hard, quick decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so in order for you to be able to make the best decision for you and the situation you're in, if we can kind of clear up some of the emotional cloudiness or fogginess that's kind of happening from the emotional overwhelm, then it's going to get you back into some clear thinking so that you can see the answer. Because right now it's like you can't even see the answer. It's like you can't see the forest for the trees. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like I've been walking around in the fog for months.
So that exercise, as simple as it sounds, it can be very impactful. I would say do it 2 to 3 times a week, but no more than 3 times. 3 is only if you're feeling energetic, healthy, a little more active. If you're feeling physically drained, no more than 2, because you don't want to release faster than your physical is able to maintain the shifts. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna suggest, get sunshine, get fresh air, get out on the ground, the earth, touch a tree, touch a rock, get your feet on the grass. But think plant, fresh air, sunshine, water, earth. Because your system, I feel like you're inside a lot right now. and your system is needing some of that physical support to help with the emotional overwhelm. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And as we get you grounded by the fresh air, the sunlight especially, like close your eyes and lean your face in the direction of the sunlight and allow the sun, because the sun is light and it's life, and it can reprogram and recalibrate our energy, because light is energy. And so all of that fresh air, the water, the sun, the earth is about grounding you, helping your energy recalibrate so that the releases that you're seeking to create and let go of things, your energy can shift and start clearing up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Was this helpful?
Yes. Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful, Michelle. Thank you for calling in and supporting the show. You have a beautiful night.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Take a deep breath, girlfriend.
Yeah, it gets talking a lot.
It's beautiful. I love how much information you give. It's so helpful because you don't just give information and then you're like, peace out. What do they do with that, right? So the information you're giving is just the helpful information you're giving is beneficial.
What I tell
much.
people is when they walk out of the door, so to speak, whether that's getting off a phone or actually walking out of a room, because I do live events. When they walk out of that door, when they get off the phone, I don't want them to just have a nice moment. Right. I want them to have their aha, and then I want them to understand this is what I can use to go that way.
Right. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Are you ready for another caller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we have a question?
We do, and we'll get to it.
Okay.
I just don't want to keep people on hold too long.
No, I understand.
So we're going to bring on our next caller. Hello, Laura from Utah, another Utah caller. Woo-hoo. Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you.
So Misty does readings in several different ways. I don't know if you've heard the show from the beginning, but she connects to your energy. You can ask a question if you're wanting to know something more specific about the energy of that experience, or would you like a reading in general where she connects to your energy and shares with you what she picks up?
I think just a reading in general would be good.
Wonderful.
Hello, Laura. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Do me a favor and take a deep breath. And just as you're taking that deep breath, close your eyes and just visualize a white energy coming from above the crown of your head, washing down through your body, through the soles of your feet into the earth. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So, the reason why I am asking you to do that is because I feel like you kind of have gotten a little ungrounded and stuck in your headspace. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's like so you know, it's really interesting. I feel tongue-tied. Do you struggle to communicate at times?
Not generally.
No, I mean, so
not just basic communication,
but
like when it really matters or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Just,
yeah, I could see that.
Yes, I'm feeling really tongue-tied. You're very guarded. You're very guarded. You're very emotional, and you guard your heart tight.
Yeah.
Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay. That makes more sense. Okay. So, would it be accurate to say that there's some emotional things that you are not quite ready to have come up at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, there are things in life, you know.
Well, it's
For sure.
I'm going to say we're kind of a little bit in a public venue. And I feel like there's a couple of things that are very guarded in your heart that I don't think like may feel nervous about having come up in this arena. Would that be accurate?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, yeah, you're very engaging. Like you have a very warm energy about you and very social. Does this make sense?
Yes. Yeah, very
Okay.
much.
You're also very eclectic. So it's like you have different groups that you hang out with, but those groups aren't necessarily connected in and of themselves. Does this make sense?
Yeah, very much actually.
So you're what I call a bridge, as in you bring divergent, like diversive groups of people who aren't necessarily friends of their own, but they are through you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So part of what that is you're a dreamer. Like you have lots of ideas, but I feel like you struggle with real world details. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And then you know a bunch of doers. They're great at doing things, but they don't necessarily have a lot of grand ideas. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And so, but you're like, it's funny, you're like a little bubbly ray of sunshine that just kind of flutters from group to group to group. But part of what motivates that kind of, I don't know, shifting is not quite feeling like you fit in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
The reason why you don't fit in is because you're really not like, you're very unique, but you do a lot to fit in. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And if at any time if something isn't ringing true for you, just let me know.
Oh, no, for sure.
Okay. So, one of the things that I feel to say is embrace what is uniquely you without feeling like you have to make it okay for other people. You're not meant to fit in. You really aren't. You're meant to stand out in a crowd because you draw people to you. Like people want to talk to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's like if you fitting in is like dumbing it down, dimming your light, and that makes it harder for people to find you because you really have the ability to bring people who aren't, it's not just like they wouldn't normally hang out, but people who sometimes might be at odds with each other because they're so different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And the way that you're able to engage with both types of personalities helps create unified ground, so to speak. It brings people together. And so, in essence, this is what I'm saying. You know, you've been dimming your light and you've been dumbing it down. Not that you're pretending a lack of intelligence. It's just you're not being all of yourself. And you're really meant to be. You really are. You're a shining star. I mean, I could see that at times in your life you've been told that you're too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you're not. What seems like, or how someone may have described you as too much, is an aliveness. And it's an aliveness that we need. It's like getting a vitamin C injection for someone who needs a little more support to build themselves up. That aliveness that you just naturally exude is vital to enlivening people, motivating. You have a gift of being able to motivate people who are struggling. Can you understand that?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And so I'm going to say, yes, in the past, people have been very opinionated with you, and understand their opinions are a reflection of themselves and have more to do with them and less to do with you. And I would invite you to be all of yourself unapologetically.
I love that.
Because this is the reality. You know that you're, like, inside, you know you're here to be with people in a big way. Is that accurate?
Yes, definitely.
And kind of the mindset has been in the past, in order to be with people, you have to feel, you've had the feeling that they have to accept you. And then you think the only way they'll accept me is if I'm like them. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, true.
So then you make these alterations to who you are and try to show up in a way that's going to get them to allow you to be with them. But the reality is they don't need more of what they have.
Yeah.
They need what you bring to the table. But you'll only be able to bring that to the table by being yourself.
Perfect.
Your personality, you're going to, oh gosh, what is that dang word? So one thing about doing this work is I struggle with words that I normally know. You're going to divide people. You have the ability to bring people together, but the flip side, because we carry the energy, the flip side is division, okay? And you have struggled with that, and that does happen, and it's not going to go away because you can't control people. So people, because of where they are, some people will drift away from you. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
When you
definitely.
embrace being you, some people are going to drift away from you.
It happens.
It happens. But here's the beauty
Those
of
people
it.
aren't worth it.
You're holding on to people who don't want to change. And you know this.
Right.
They're not ready to change. They're nowhere near in the vicinity of desiring to change because of where they are. And that's what they're choosing. By allowing them to choose to walk away from you, you're going to open up space in your life for people who are ready what you have brought to share.
Good. I like that.
I've come for myself to this understanding. If I am not saying and doing what I know to be right and true in my heart, it is only in an attempt to control or influence someone or something outside of myself for my own desired outcome. That's not love, that's control and manipulation, and you hate to be controlled. And you dislike manipulation.
Sure.
Correct?
I hate both of those. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. And the reason being is because you're all about choice. So control and manipulation are a raw edge to you.
Yeah.
There's no quicker way to bring out your stubbornness than to somebody to try and control and manipulate you. Does that make sense?
I'll try to do the opposite. Yes, absolutely.
So the only way we can really give people what I feel is unconditional love is to give them a choice to want what we offer or not. But you can't give them a choice if you're not being you. If you alter you in any way, you're controlling and manipulating. And that's being what you don't like.
Yes.
That make sense?
For sure. Yes. for sure.
So being you is the best way you can love somebody because you're giving them a choice, a real 100% authentic choice. And that's what you're all about. Your soul is all about choice. It's all about love. It's all about togetherness and bringing people together. But remember, flip sides of things, division happens.
Yeah.
The flip side of choice is control. So, we've come to teach what we've come to learn. Our mess is our message. So for somebody who's all about getting into choice, all about love, all about bringing together, you're going to experience the flip side of that. You're going to experience division. You're going to experience not love. You're going to experience control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So at this time, it's like you've been really wanting to get out of where you've been and wanting to be yourself. Like it's been a burning desire. And the reason being is because you know inside that it's time. It's time to stop playing the game where you learned certain things and time to start owning who you are so that you can start living from a place that is a gift. Does this make sense?
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Is that helpful?
Yes, I loved every second of it.
Here's another thing. I feel like you've been struggling with feeling weak and powerless. Would this be accurate?
Not completely, no.
Think aspects and places. It's not about very like a broad band. It's like think of some specific places where you've maybe felt like you've felt weak in something or felt powerless or maybe out of control.
Yes. Okay, yes.
Okay. You're not weak. You are very determined. That's just why you can be very stubborn because it's the flip side energy. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So when you're being pig-headed, there is a fear that's coming up for you or you're in pain. Address those things and you'll be determined, but you're not weak. You're very strong because the ability to bring people together, people can choose division instead, and there's an inner strength required to bear that sadness of seeing people leave when they don't have to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Did she say yes?
Is she there?
Yes. Yeah, I said yes. Did you not hear me?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it's just find where you're feeling out of control, and there's something you're afraid, like you feel in your soul guided to do, or you feel inspired in some way to do something, but there's a fear that's come up, so you're resisting doing it, and it's creating a sense of feeling out of control. Does this make sense?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
That it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never know because you pause for a minute sometimes.
I know. Well, if it was just like somebody talking in my ear, it'd be real easy to be a parrot. I could just whoop, 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 word for word. Just could you repeat that last sentence, please? Because I didn't catch the end of it. Mm-hmm. But no, it's like having a puzzle piece. Mm-hmm. And when I say it's like having pictures and images, they work in the realm of my reality, my way of communicating, my way of understanding. So I have symbols that are relevant to me. I get shown snippets of my personal experiences, or like a memory of a conversation I just had with somebody jumps into my head, and the kind of overall way I perceive that conversation, the emotion or the perspective of it, or a song will play a line over and over, or like I knew this one woman, and
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to keep Laura on the line if we're done. Laura, thank you for calling into the show and supporting us.
Thank you guys so much. Thank
you
you
enjoy
so much.
your night.
Everything was very, yes, you too. Have a good night.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's just, it's putting these things together and trying to make a sentence in essence, it feels like if I put the puzzle piece together, if I put it together, I get to read the book. And when I read the book, everybody's life, your show is everybody's unique journey. Everybody's life is this beautiful, unique, experiential story that I feel I have the privilege to participate in, that I get the privilege of witnessing. And because I get that, I get this unique opportunity to see what makes them, what makes them amazing, what they struggle with, what they fear, what is the truth, and I feel blessed.
You are blessed. We are blessed for having you here. It's neat how, okay, for instance, I'm just going to get on this topic because it is in the energy tonight, and I feel like it's really neat to share different perspectives, right? So you're a very unique reader. You read people's energies different than anyone else that I have come across. Would you consider yourself a psychic?
I've had people try and get me to define it,
right?
And I haven't known how to.
Well,
because people ask
me
if I'm
different than being a psychic.
People have asked me if I'm a psychic, but when I think of psychic, I think of somebody who can sit and tell you what's going to happen tomorrow, and then you can make your choices accordingly. Or somebody asks me if I'm a medium. Sometimes I pick up on this energy that's with somebody, but I can't sit and tell you if it's Uncle Tommy and he wants you to know about this experience so that you can collect your fortune.
Right.
I sometimes I pick, I don't know. It's like, I feel like your soul, I can hear your soul speak. I feel like I can hear what I call God, and what God feels about you, and which is always love. I've never met a person God hates. And then I feel these, sometimes when I feel angels around people, it's kind of a general, as in I feel a presence that we would call angelic. Then there's times where I feel an individual energy around a person, and it can feel male or female or older or younger. And I had a reading and I felt an energy, and I was like, I keep seeing your son, and I'm like, but it's not him. So then the question I asked is there someone who's not here who this son is very much alike? The answer was yes. And so it's like, that's how they get me to connect with things. And when I say they, for me, that's God, the universe, angels, your higher self. And I've never quite understood how to express it to people because I don't quite know how to make sense of it myself.
Yeah, it is different. It is different and unique. And when I'm at the shop and people ask what kind of a reader you are, I always say intuitive. What does that mean? Well, it means, I share how you receive your messages. And it's as simple as that. A lot of people want, a quick fix or precise information or their future told to them, whatever that looks like. Some psychics can do that. Some mediums can connect to your loved ones passed over. Everyone is different in how they receive their messages and how they connect to source. And again, with the expectations, because we expect when we hear reader that it's going to look and be a certain way. And sometimes it is exactly what we thought, and sometimes it's nothing like we had thought. And the reason why I bring that up is because the first time I ever had a reading from you, I was hopeful. Like, oh, she's going to see that my grandma's always with me, and she's going to tell me a message straight from my cousin, and, like things that you see on TV. Or even other readers. I've had other readers share messages from Spirit. And how do I know they're real? How do I know they're true other than what I feel in my heart to be true? Right? So everything is just, everybody, I shouldn't say everything, everybody is different. And that's what I like about the way you read, is because you pick up on the energy of the person and validate who they are as an individual, and show them a way to fine-tune their spirit to help them along their journey.
Yeah, I feel like when I read people, I'm being shown this is where they are. This is who they think they are. This is who they really are. This is what they're going through. This is how they could move forward. Some people, they have something specific they want me to focus on. It's not that I can sit and say, oh, yes, your venture is guaranteed, or no, you're doomed to failure. It's, well, I can see where you are, and I can see the energy of where you would like to go, and I can see what may be in between, like what may be blocking the success of moving towards that. I have people, they'll come and they want to focus on business. We ended up talking about relationship because relationship is the stumbling block, the energy between them being successful in their business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll talk about things that seem to have nothing to do with the thing they're asking about, because in our uniqueness as humans, we have these entanglements that would seem logically unconnected, and yet mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, they're very connected.
That's what I love. I love the difference in the different people and the different perspectives, and I appreciate every single one if it comes from a place of love, from the heart. And even, I shouldn't even say unless, because that's not true either. I appreciate them all, because humans, I appreciate every human, no matter what their perspective or point of view is. We learn something from everyone we encounter. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, lots of gurus and mentors and such in the world have always taught us that, you know, we can learn from everyone. Everyone's a teacher. Even our worst enemies can be teachers.
Mm-hmm.
They are. They teach us the biggest lessons.
I was going to say, if I have learned anything, it's been from those people who have showed up in that way for me.
Well, I mean, really think about it. What are you going to understand about your courage if you're never in a situation that challenges it? That challenges you to be courageous.
Right, right.
So how are you going to... Every experience isn't trying to show you what you're not, or at least not in that context. It's not trying to tear you down. It's trying to show you who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of the times we're so afraid that it's the opposite. The answer is the opposite, and we don't want to hear that because the thought of that being the truth terrifies us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll avoid it, or we'll run the other direction, or we'll fight against it.
Right.
Because we don't want that to be true.
Agreed. Are you ready for another call?
Yeah.
We have time for one more caller, and I do want to get to that question from the chat room before we end the show. So let's bring on
It's
Katie.
always too fast.
Another caller from Utah. Welcome to Soul Wanderings.
Hi.
Hi, Katie. Are you interested in receiving a reading from Misty with a specific question, or would you like her to read your energy in general?
Just energy in general.
Okay, perfect.
Katie, how old are you?
36.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
36.
36, okay. I'm just going to ask you to talk into your phone a little bit so that I can hear you better.
Okay, is that better?
Oh, yes, way better. Thank you.
Okay.
So it's funny. I asked that question because you feel so young inside. You feel so
childlike.
Yes, but I don't want that to be taken as immature, because she's also very... It's funny because there's... I don't know if you're a Gemini, but there's this dualistic childlike awe and wonder, but also wisdom, like old soul. Does this make sense?
A little, yeah. I'm a Cancer, but yeah, some stuff I'm going through would be childlike.
That's a Cancer personality trait.
Yeah, because you're like, you have it's funny, you have a young energy, but I wouldn't call it childish. It's because there's this old soulness to you too. It's funny that we're sitting and talking about you being an old soul and having wisdom, because I feel like you're struggling with some answers at this time. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to sit and say I feel like your answers are inside of you, but you're afraid. So this is what it feels like. As I'm experiencing your energy, I feel like if you listened inside, you'd know what to do, but doing that feels scary. You're being scared of what the outcome would be if you actually did it. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And so, but I feel very strongly to tell you to trust yourself.
Okay.
I feel like you're. This just feels really heavy and hard. So that you're faced with something very difficult. Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what's caused you to doubt yourself. But this is where I'm going to sit and say, I'm going to read and give it as best as I can describe it. It's information and suggestions. It's not counseling, because I feel like you're really struggling with some heavy stuff right now. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not legally a counselor, so I can't give counseling advice. I can only speak from the awareness of being able to go through experiences of life. And one, I feel to tell you that you are stronger than you believe you are. Okay? And although the things that you're facing at this time feel so very difficult, this too shall pass. It's the very nature of life and experiences is that things do shift and move, okay? And even though you've got to make some hard choices, there are other things happening in life besides that. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So in essence, yes, this is demanding, I guess, more of your time and attention by the very nature of it. But do not forget to focus on things that bring you peace and joy. Does this make sense? Because this has been feeling very all-consuming. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel that you have an answer, but you're hesitant to act on it. Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
I feel that you can trust yourself. It doesn't mean to not take the time to think things through. We want to measure them against a base foundation of legal, moral, and ethical. But I feel like you're making some difficult choices that in the end is about changing the direction of your life. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And it's important. Find out, sit down with yourself and be honest. Be honest about what it is you want. Because while you have lack of clarity, you're sitting in indecision. And when you can be honest with yourself to gain that clarity about what it is you want, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, what you're not willing to put up with anymore, because I feel like that's part of what's going on is you've reached your limit of what you're willing to put up with. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And you're tired and you've had enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's having that difficult conversation with self and being honest and real with yourself. Once you do that, it's going to give you a breath of fresh air, because that's going to start putting you in the driver's seat of your life instead of having to be in this reactionary mode and reacting to the things that are happening. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then as you get that breath of fresh air, that freedom, you're definitely going to become crystal clear on what your choices are, as in the ones you want to make. And then you're going to, in that space of freedom, you're going to start having the desire to act on what you feel is right for you in your heart. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the skills because I feel that you've struggled with, and I could be wrong, but I feel like you've been abused emotionally.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
And we want to strengthen you. And so what I'm going to say is, whatever happens out in the world, whatever thoughts you think, follow everything up with self-love. So what that looks like is, when you have thoughts that are not kind to yourself, just, yep, I see that, and I don't want it to be true, and I love you. You're going to give to you what you need. You're not going to wait for somebody else to give it to you. You're not going to wait for other people to validate you. You're not going to wait for someone else to love you. You're going to love you. That's going to strengthen you so that you can make the choice that you feel guided to make. So when some memory shows up and it's a painful memory, yep, I wish that didn't happen. Just be honest about whatever it is that comes up and follow it with, and I love you. I am here for you. And when you say I'm here for you, you're talking to yourself. I'm here for you. I love you. It's going to be okay because I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And you're going to give yourself that security and that foundation so that you can move through what's happening to get yourself to a better place. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. You are not alone. You're surrounded by so much light and love. And I know that right now you struggle to feel it because you're shut down, because feeling has been so painful. But the signs are there. You're going to see things that are just going to catch your attention, like a song is going to show up on the radio that touches your heart. You're going to see, like for me, like I see the color purple, and it just like, I just feel it. Heaven is waving hello. They're telling me they love me. It's stuff like that. You're going to see a repetitive number. It's just signs so that you can be aware you're not alone, because you feel so alone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you
I think
so
we're
much.
out of time.
Yeah, we are out of time, unfortunately, Katie, but we're so thankful that you called in and received this message. Hope it helps you so much.
It does. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Katie. Have a beautiful night, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.
And this, I have goosebumps. This is why I appreciate and adore your gifts so much. Life is hard enough as it is, and then we have the mix of 2020 added into it, and people are cracking. It's a hard time right now, in addition to the hard times like she's experiencing. So thank you for sharing that message with her. We literally just have like 2 minutes. Let's get to the question from Blue. With all of the positive energies that are available and growing, how can we escape from the trap of being made hateful and hostile? Which is a perfect question to end the show.
There's been things that have been going on that I'm not in agreement with. And in the world, we have this, we'll say, unspoken rules of engagement. And one of those is that love equals agreement. So what happens if we disagree? Then I can't show love to you because I don't want to be seen as agreeing with you. Because we have this unspoken rule that love equals agreement. When I'm in disagreement, I can't be showing love because I don't want to show agreement. Mm-hmm. We think that giving love means agreement. Mm-hmm. And as long as that happens, if I'm in disagreement, then I can't give love, and I want to love you. So then what happens? I argue with you, trying to get into agreement, trying to get you on my side, to my way of thinking. And so as long as we have we're unconsciously living by the love equals agreement, we're going to have fights and arguments. We're going to give the cold shoulder, create distance, walk away from relationships. We're going to hate. We're going to have wars.
Mm-hmm.
But when we can understand that love has nothing to do with agreement, we can agree to disagree, and I can love you. I can be loving. I can love what I can love love the person, hate the habit. I don't have to hate anything. I don't have to agree with what they're saying and doing to be able to love them.
Mm-hmm.
I can be loving. I can be what I want to be while being in disagreement with what I disagree with.
Wouldn't that be a perfect, beautiful world?
It would be amazing.
Everyone always asks me, being at Vibes, like, what do you think and how do you feel? And I don't talk politics or what's going on. Not that it doesn't need to be talked about, but in order to keep the peace in the environment I'm in, not living unrealistically, I'm aware of what's going on. But my answer always is love. Love is the answer. And I cannot express it enough. When you come from that vibration, there's always peace and harmony.
I love the quote that Martin Luther King gave. Only light can drive out darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Only love can drive out hate.
Yes, it's perfect. And what a beautiful way to end the show.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for being here with us tonight, Misty. You really are such a treasured human in my life. And I know you're helping so many other people. It's just so amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you are local to the Ogden, Utah area and would like to attend a group intuitive reading with Misty, she'll be sharing space with us at Vibes, Mind, Body, Spirit this coming Tuesday, August 25th at 6 p.m. There's a $10 off discount if you call to pre-register before the day of, so take advantage of that. For more information on this event and any others, be sure to visit Vibes, VIBEZ, now. That's vibesnow.com. For more information about the show, visit soulwanderings.com as well as kgraradio.com. Share with your friends and family. I encourage you all, I always say this every week, keep having these conversations. They bring us closer together. They connect us. They bring awareness and growth into our experiences. And speaking of experiences, super loving the emails you guys are sending me about yours. Keep them coming. Connect at soulwanderings.com. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. And I have to give a shout out to my producers, Eric and Bill. You guys are the best. Have a beautiful evening, everyone. Bye for now.